Hello, my name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I have been given an assignment by Sum Ting Wong. I probably butcher that. I'm sorry. But what he has asked me to do is go to this article, read it, and tell him what I would have done in that neighborhood. It's not necessarily what I would have done in the neighborhood because I think it's fairly obvious. So what we're going to be doing is giving a level of information, of teaching, of what the pitfalls, what is going to be your narrative. And you need to have the best knowledge possible in the forefront of your brain to imagine if this is something that you would want to get involved in. Obviously, let's go through his comment. Can you do a video on a story and talk about what you would have done if you lived in that neighborhood and saw the attack ongoing? From a POV of having guns and being a legal gun owner. That sentence and attack ongoing. There is, in this article that he had right here, there is a witness who is watching the fight, but I'm not exactly sure when he starts viewing the fight. And this is going to be a very important itemization. If you are if you're watching something going on of an attack of a third person, but you have not seen the start of it, you're going to be opening yourself up to a narrative and going down a rabbit hole that the legal system may put you down, and you have and you won't know that you're going down that rabbit hole. It is completely different if you have a personal relationship with the person. If it is a family member or a good friend, you're going to have a reasonably good idea of how that person deals with himself, and then you have a better knowledge of really going on what is going on. So we are just going to assume that this is a kind of a different case. What I said before is general knowledge, but this is going to be a very specific case, and we're just going to read a little bit here. A 20-year-old man has been charged with the attack of an 18-year-old woman with a machete Thursday afternoon in an Apex neighborhood, police said. According to police, Priyanka was walking home from school, so we know that she's a school-aged kid, even though that she's 18, from a bus stop at about 3 p.m. when she was stabbed by Neil outside his home at a whatever address. Her father said the 18-year-old was at home, is home from the hospital recovering from her wounds. Apex Police Chief Letterny said Kamara was badly hurt with a significant amount of blood loss and some severe injuries. She was taken to Duke Hospital where she was in stable condition on Thursday night. Mita was taken by police to WakeMed with minor injuries that appear to be self-inflicted. Witnesses said that the assault lasted several minutes. Again, we're several minutes of this thing is going on. Police said that Mata dropped the weapon when he was confronted with officers and taken into custody. And this is what the neighbor came in with, okay? One neighbor who didn't want to be identified told WRAL News that he witnessed the attack and saw Mehta stabbing Kamara repeatedly. The neighbor said he walked toward Mehta with a 2x4. He said he did not approach Mehta for fear of his own safety. Reasonable. 2x4 against machete? Reasonable. But the threat of walking out with the 2x4 did not stop Mehta from attacking. The neighbor said they were shaken and scared following the incident. I'm not going to read the rest of this. This was a domestic situation. This was an ex-boyfriend and girlfriend situation, which also peels off another layer of, I might talk about a little bit later. But if you ask a police officer what is the most dangerous situation that they're generally in, is domestic situations, because if you arrest one, you maybe get attacked by another. That is going to be a very important consideration also. And we'll get into that when we kind of do the lessons, okay? Now, every state is going to allow you to defend a person who is an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm, and you are able to use deadly force to stop that threat. And it's either going to be in the same statute that gives you the authority to use physical force, deadly force against an individual who is attacking you on a here and now basis, or it's going to be in a separate statute later on. I guarantee you, third-party defense is going to be in every statute in every 50 states, but this is where the rabbit hole goes down. There is a known quality of risk if you are defending your wife, your children, your uncles, your friends of friends. You might be getting a little bit out there, okay? But when you don't know the person, you don't know what their psyche is going to be, and this creates a couple of issues. Now, the states are going to have ways of trying to figure out if this is going to be against the law, or if you have a justifying right to use deadly force to stop that unknown third-party threat. There's going to be two general definitions. There's going to be the reasonable perception. Just because you perceive it doesn't make it true, and that's the pitfall. And let's just say this. You're coming around the corner. You view two guys on top of a woman screaming, and the woman was screaming, "Rape! Rape! Rape!" You heard this. You drawed your weapon and said, "Get off her now! It's on fire!" That seems like a reasonable perception. If a woman is saying rape, it's true. Well, what happened in reality is that the two men on top of her were undercover police officers making a drug bust. Now, in the states that have the reasonable perception it's going to save your butt from that perception, that wrong perception of coming in the middle of an argument, the middle of the fight, and that's what I'm trying to get to. If you come into the middle of the fight, you do not have all the information that you need, unless it is a machete coming down on an 18-year-old woman's body time and time and time again. That's quite obvious. So reasonable perception is going to hopefully help you out with that. But the other pitfall is you are now pointing your gun at two police officers who I'm pretty much guaranteed have a gun and probably will shoot back at you. Okay? Just for you being thought you were in the right scenario. Woman is yelling rape. Two guys are on top of her. You presented your gun. You're wrong. And now two police officers are probably shooting at you. Okay? The other thing that you need to learn is states that go with the alter ego perception. Let's do the same scenario. You're walking down the street, you turn the corner, you see two guys on top of a woman yelling, "Rape, rape, rape!" And you pull out your gun and you say, "Stop her, I will shoot!" Or you have shot. What the alter ego does, it puts you in the shoes of the woman on the ground. And why is that bad? Well, as we said in the story, we already know that this was a drug bust gone wrong. You need, in the alter ego perception, you still need to be innocent, have innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. You still need up to all five of those to defend that woman on the ground. But what one of those five has she broken in the story already? She's not an innocent victim. She's not an innocent victim because she was selling drugs. And on top of that, I believe it's 49 states will say you cannot use deadly force for a legal arrest. I think it's 49 states. I'm not sure about that one state. I could be wrong with that. Again, any information I'm giving to you today is for information only. I'm not a lawyer. I don't claim to be. If you have a specific question, go to a competent self-defense lawyer in your area for your specific situation. All right. So those are really the two pitfalls: reasonable perception and alter ego. You know, the third party is different, and I hinted on this in the past, where let's just say that you put your gun in a wife-husband situation. And, you know, clearly the husband was slapping the wife around. But when you're telling your story it is completely different from the story that the wife is saying. And the wife is saying, the only problem I had is this guy with the gun. Well, what are you going to be doing in that scenario? What is your narrative going to be? How are you going to be fighting it? Again, these are the pitfalls of an unknown third-party self-defense scenario. Again, I've already alluded. Again, there are going to be other states out there that even have even more restrictions. I'm just going to be giving you one more example. In the state of Delaware, you have to, it is an alter ego in the state of Delaware. Innocence, eminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. The state of Delaware also requires if the victim that you are saving had the ability to get away, retreat in a full safe condition earlier in the fight, but you came around that corner and you inserted your gun into a third-party scenario, guess what? That alter ego for duty to retreat will fall on you. If it could be proven that she, or the victim, your perception of the victim had an easy way to get away, safe, and with no fear of getting hurt or death, you're going to be arrested. These are the pitfalls. I think that is going to be a good overall encompassing effect for your knowledge to decide if you are going to defend somebody if you don't know them and you defend them with deadly force. These are the pitfalls that you need to know, that you need to perceive. Did I ever do alter ego? Yeah, alter ego. Clark Kent and Superman. Clark Kent is his alter ego. Okay, you're going to be one and the same if your state requires an alter ego responsibility. Okay. Well, what I have done in that situation back here, well, I think it would be plainly obvious if somebody is taking shots at a woman with a machete. My gun would have been drawn and I would have had 3 shots into him quickly. Minimum 3 shots into him quickly. Again, if there's when you are dealing with school-age children, I want you guys to also know this. Even if it is a lawful self-defense, you're going to get a heavily anal probing and make sure that you did everything right if you had a life or death situation or defended somebody that was in a child situation. Even though that this is a 20-year-old guy, there is a child, an 18-year-old child, if you want to call it an 18-year-old child, but you will be anally probed, so you must have these things right. You must have them right. Innocence, eminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. I will guarantee you that all those are part of a self-defense scenario in all 50 states. The defense of a third party is starting to go down that rabbit hole, is starting to be becoming part of those weeds. So you need to know your municipality's local laws when it comes to defending a third party with lethal force. My name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope this helps.